Hey, welcome to another episode of Dave's Imaginations. Today we're going to recap our game from Thursday, August 24th. Here I am, Studio B in the house, as we last night played at our kitchen table instead of the basement because all the drama down there with the burst pipe and all that. We're getting it fixed. Next week we'll have the plumbers in. But for now, we're upstairs. I'm in Studio B, and in this video we're going to be recapping our game from Thursday, August 24th. Dave's Imaginations presents Descent into Avernus, Slipping Hell's Grasp. We're going to go through where we're at and what we're doing next right after this. So, our adventurers find themselves in Avernus, the first of the 9 levels of hell. They found themselves on the floating moat of earth that had Elturel, and they battled their way to the city hall, and where they rescued the town guard, the militia captain, the older Raven Guard, saved his life, and Raven Guard had a vision of an angel and a sword and its companion, flying elephant Lulu, and in this vision they see that they planted some angelic sword in the ground, and above it a citadel grew, and some sort of, they called it a scab, overcame this sword, and the angel Zariel became the Archduke of Avernus, and now is in an eternal blood war, a devil fighting against the demons of Avernus, and Elturel is brought to here to supplant her forces, to increase her devils that she can use to battle these demons. But in this vision, the older Raven Guard says to the party, "Find the sword. It's our only chance of returning back to Faerun." And Lulu says, I remember. And Lulu, who was there but had gone crazy, had lost some of her memories, had found her way back to Faerun, and then Faerun saw this town, this city of Elturel, had disappeared, and through an investigation with her companion Martello, they found their way. A mage transported them back to Avernus as Lulu is trying to regain her memories. But with this prompting of the story by this guardsman, this militiaman, she's prompted that she remembers something about talking birds, and that she needs to find these talking birds, and they will know. They will know where this sword is, or help her get her memories back. And so the party says, okay, let's find these birds. And maybe through finding these birds, we can find this sword. And so they look to get off the Elturel, and they jump down to the mainland, where they come upon a Mad Maxian type of scene. Cars and doom buggies and motorcycles surrounding 3 people that are talking to another person. And through this, all this while, we have Ruckus, who is in his curse, has gone mad with bloodlust, homicidal, murderous hobo, if you would, as he needs to kill a certain number of humanoids. But it just so happens that these Mad Maxians, these nomadic people on these, they are humanoids, and Gloin can tell because he has a similar type of curse, as he can tell the tastes. He wants to get one of those humanoids for himself, but we know that our companion needs to have his bloodlust satisfied. We've been holding Ruckus back in manacles and locking him up in his lamp that has a magnificent mansion inside. We lock him up in there, and we've created this whole ruckus bomb, this whole ruckus grenade, where we throw it into the humanoids and let him have his way. And ultimately he did get some, but it wasn't enough. And through this effort, though, they did discover the people they were rescuing, Smiley and Sabine and this Mesloth. And there's a conversation with them, and they're asked do you know of these talking birds? And they say, well, you might mean these two, Chucka and Clonk, I believe were the names, Chucka and Clonk. And you might mean Chucka and Clonk at Fort Knucklebone. We'll lead you there, but we have one more favor to ask. If you could go to this giant Hellwasp Nest and bring us one of the larvae, we really need that for our dispute with Raga Draga, the were-boar that you just chased off. If you could get us one of those, we will show you. We'll take you. We'll show you where this Fort Knucklebone is. And so that's kind of where we started last night, as our adventurers went to this Hellwasp Nest and went to retrieve one of the larvae. Now, Panlemere has the ability to create a specter companion, and so he rose the dead of one of these were-boars and sent it up into the Hellwasp Nest and to retrieve the larva. He got the specter got the larva, but as he was coming out, he was being chased by a number of these hellwasps, and that's where our battle began. As the group, some 100 feet below this giant hellwasp nest, were trying to shoot out to kill the wasp as it's following the specter out. These wasps were too much for the specter, and it destroyed the specter, and it dropped the larva as it's falling. Lulu, our Hollyphunt companion, flew up there and grabbed it, but yet the wasps attacked her and took her down, and she starts to fall. Yeah, we hit her with the healing spell and all that, and she's fine, but the larva starts to fall, and ultimately they caught it. They got it, but during this battle, the wasps came, more and more came, and eventually the queen came out, and she was doing psychic attacks all along. The first one was kind of a fear thing, trying to chase them. The second was a curse where the lots of black ichor fell from the nest, and a couple of them, they all but two dodged, and the one that didn't dodge, we got. I used our Chaos Magic Table. If you didn't recognize that, this was our Chaos Magic Table. I rolled on that, and it was Gloin and Panlemere each had an effect. Now, Gloin's was he's protected from aberrations for an hour, so that no effect, no real curse there. But the curse for Panlemere was he is surrounded by these flittering butterflies around obscuring his vision. It's a curse that he is cursed with until it's dealt with somehow. But in the end, the third thing the Queen Bee just said, "Why are you attacking us? We wouldn't come to your house and kill your people and steal your children. Why are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, we're doing it because we were told this. We're doing it for this guy over here." And, "Who's this guy? Where do you need to go?" And they say, "Well, do you know of the bird people?" "No." "Do you know of Fort Knuckle?" "No, but there's a human nest." "You mean the human nest up there?" "No, that's not. There's another human fort over there, and if you point out the people that sent you to take our larva, our child, we will take you to this Fort Knucklebone." And they do. They say, "Hey, Smiley and his gang, there's a couple over there." And so this Queen Bee sends a swarm to deal with them, and then a few more of her drones, the wasps, pick up the party and fly them to Fort Knucklebone. Now, dropped out some hundreds of feet outside this wall, you see this rock outcropping that looks like a hand with space between the knuckles, and it looks like knuckle bones in the dirt. Now, it's actually mountains. So, but then surrounding that is this fortified metallic wall, tall fortified wall, and with two structures, and outside there's these imposing little guns pointed down at them, and they get up there and they encounter madcaps. Now, our madcaps are a little different than the standard madcaps because I needed humanoids. These are crazed dwarves, cursed dwarves, and they are tainted by the ichor, tainted by Avernus. So maybe I'll call them mad hats or red hats instead of mad caps, because the actual mad caps would be fey, and I didn't know that, but I wanted them to be humanoid, and so we're just calling them. They're kind of like a mixture of goblin and dwarves. Maybe there's a backstory there we can make up sometime. But these are humanoids. As we went in there, and it was a fun encounter. If you have time, you might go watch it. I thought it was pretty fun, as these are comic relief type of demented dwarven goblin-like dwarves. And so the whole encounter was pretty fun. As we worked our way in, Panlamir gave those dwarves some magic stones to buy their way into the fort. And those Mad Hatters were fighting over those stones. And eventually, though, they laid a ruckus trap. As they laid Ruckus down, and Panlamir had all of them poised to throw their stones at him, and they did a healing spell on Ruckus, and Barty kind of backed away real fast, and Ruckus had this battle with all these mad cats. Some of the ones actually saw him transform, and so increasing his debt to the dark god vampire. But then, as he was chasing them in and out of these structures, more and more of these Mad Hatters that didn't know got together. Ultimately, Ruckus met the requirements of Vampire, and his sanity returned to him. Now, while this is happening, the rest of the party did encounter a couple imps that were just enjoying the heck out of these madcaps being tormented, and so they were just loving it. As well as they found one of these infernal war machines, the big tankish buggies, and inside that there was a flame skull, and the flame skull was missing its tooth. And so the flame skull was, I could really use my tooth back. And ultimately we had to roll to see if Ruckus, the were-shark with his insane were-shark, if he swallowed the tooth, so the tooth had been stolen by the Mad Hatters, and the Mad Hatters were being attacked by Ruckus, and so we had to see with the fate chart if were-shark Ruckus swallowed this tooth or not. We decided it was unsure. It was kind of a 50-50 thing. We rolled, and it was an exceptional no. So with exceptional no, I said, hey, you know what? It's shot on a string, and it's on your teeth. And so he actually did have it, and was able to give it back to the Flame Skull, who then introduced them to Chukka and Clonk. And that's where we ended our evening. So I had a lot of fun with that. Please hit that like, subscribe before you drop off. Please. No. And I hope you're having fun. I hope you don't mind the modification of the stats for the red caps, mad caps. I think it made sense. It was fine. Very little. And I don't know to what extent, maybe you can tell me in the comments, to what extent do you look up the monsters we're battling? Do you go and check them out as we're going? I don't so much. And if you do, I modify them to some extent regularly. So I know earlier in the night we had battled the Hellwasps, and we had sent the Spectre in, and we compared the challenge rating, because it was like a challenge rating 1 versus challenge rating 5, and so I brought that up on screen and I shared it with everyone. And so there was a comment made that you threw a lot of CR5s at our guys. We have 4 or 5 CR13s. You can handle as many CR5s as I throw at you. And so, and I want a good threat, but not a horrible threat. I like to threaten, but not necessarily kill. But there is always that true risk of you could die. We'll roll for it. I don't like to do it, and I often would find a different path, a different way to resolve death. But that's what happened. Anyway, so let me know if you check out the monsters. I'm interested to what extent when I say creature, if you go look it up or what. So that's what happened last night. Dave's Imaginations presents Descent into Avernus, Slipping Hell's Grass, from Thursday, August 24th. And we plan to meet again next week. Is that September already? Might be. Might be August 31st. Anyway, we'll see you then. Until then, take care.